hard time with this, probably the hardest time that I've had of any petition that I've sat on in a few years. And I with respect to Mr. Klim, the town manager, he made a very impassioned address to this board, which I was impressed by. And I was particularly impressed that he came to the board to address the board on this matter, because he had never been here before, nor do I think any other town manager have been here to address this board. But and I, thinking about the plea he made to this board about how we have to stand up for the abutters, I thought about that, and I was initially persuaded by that. But then I remembered going back to my very first interview with the appointment committee from the town council, what I was asked about what I thought my role was on this board. And I remembered saying that I think the role of this board is to balance countervailing interests and to try to balance as best as we can the interests of the abutters with the interests of the applicant. And that's what I come back to in this case, is that this is a tough balancing act. There's a lot of good points on both sides, but I think we have to keep in mind that is it a balancing act between the abutter's interests and the applicant's interests.
History of running a liquor store, both in Barnstable and in Marshfield, well run, no complaints. I think he's the type of person that we want to have doing business in our town, and I don't like the right in, right out access at all. But I think, again, we're going to be faced with problems with whatever business goes in there. And I don't think that's just because this is a liquor store that there's going to be more problems and the people going in there are going to be any more irresponsible than any others. I mean, I go to banks every day and I go to liquor stores probably every other day. So I just don't think it's, in my opinion, that relevant. And I know there was some concern about this being a liquor store and being so close to the schools. And I'm very sensitive to that myself. I have 3 kids. But Blanchard's has been in Marshfield for years. I went to Marshfield High. I can't recall any instances of kids going over there. It wasn't even on our minds that there was a liquor store there. It was just any other business, along with the Dunkin' Donuts. And I honestly just don't feel like that's a real safety concern.
Opportunity to get a special permit, that they were opening the window for a retail use in that property as long as they met the following criteria. Do not substantially adversely affect the public health, safety, welfare, comfort, or convenience of the community. And I kept underlining in my mind the word substantially. And reading through both the peer review and the applicant's review of the traffic study, and the conservative numbers that they kept referring. I mean, the base numbers that they came off of was always to the conservative side. It wasn't trying to, we're right under timeline, or we're right under. It started from a conservative base. I've also taken the last 3 weeks that we've had since we met last to really spend a lot of time trying to drive by this property at different times of the day. I've made a point to drive by at 8 o'clock in the morning, noontime, 4 in the afternoon, 5 in the afternoon, and weekends and Sundays. And I quite frankly don't understand the hysteria over parking and traffic and mitigation. I understand it's a problem, and I understand the town is trying to do a lot to do it. I just don't see the hysteria over it, and I could not bring myself to the point where I would call this project substantially detrimental. I just couldn't. And
the board for a vote. Kelly?
I vote in favor.
Jim?
In favor.
Dan?
In favor.
John?
In favor.
I'm going to vote in the negative. And my reasons for that is I don't believe that this proposal will, in fact, fulfill the spirit and intent of our zoning ordinance. I feel that encouraging this amount of traffic along Route 28 and along the neighboring roadways that are, for the most part, residential in use will constitute a substantial detriment. I also feel that the abutting single and multi-family residential uses in the neighborhood, institutional uses and religious uses and educational uses will be adversely impacted by introducing significant amount of traffic flow here. I would find that basically in granting this board the ability to grant special permits over retail uses, this board has the discretion to say yes or no over retail uses. I feel this type of retail use will in fact be a high traffic generator. I also find the local comprehensive plan discourages strip development, and also strives to make major traffic routes safe and convenient for travel. I find that this proposal is not consistent with that plan. Accordingly, I needed to justify my negative vote regarding the findings, and that's what it is. So it's a 4-to-1 positive vote regarding the findings. Dan, would you make findings regarding a motion, along with conditions?
Sure, I'd move to grant the special permit and the modification of the special permit, subject to the following. For the redevelopment and reuse of the subject property for a retail building of 9,081 square feet and related site improvements to be used for the retail sales of liquor, subject to all of the following requirements and conditions. 1. Redevelopment of the site shall be as proposed and plans submitted to the board as prepared for Donald J. Corey Jr., dated November 8, 2005, last revised 3/7/2008, entitled Proposed Drainage and Septic Plan at 1030 Falmouth Road, Route 28, Barnstable, Centerville, Mass., and proposed parking plan at 1030 Falmouth Road, Route 28, Barnstable, Centerville, Mass., as drawn by Sullivan Engineering, Inc. 2. The proposed building shall conform to those architectural plans submitted entitled Blanchard's Liquors, 1030 Falmouth Road, Centerville, Massachusetts, dated August 2005, with the last revised date of February 24, 2006, as drawn by AKRO Associates Architects and consisting of 3 sheets. The site shall be landscaped as shown on the architectural plans submitted and cited above. In addition, the applicant shall install a staggered row of Leland cypress and a split rail fence or other type of fencing approved by the Growth Management Department along the easterly edge of the parking development area to demarcate the work limit area and sufficiently to further screen the redevelopment from the residential property on the easterly side of Earls Court, as shown on Assessors Map 250 as parcel 28. No occupancy permit shall be issued until the landscape and fencing has been installed in accordance with this condition. I'd like to further revise that condition to have it say that it'll be a staggered double row of Leland cypress, and that they shall be a minimum of 5 feet in height at the time of, I think that's sufficient.